Plaintiff Megan McVeigh dated the defendant, and she claims after they had a baby, she grew up. But the defendant did not. Megan claims the defendant continued to drink while watching their daughter, and he would smoke pot on a regular basis. She's suing her ex for a bail bond, and because he kicked her car in a fit of rage. Defendant Travis Peters says Megan is extremely violent, and she was once arrested for domestic abuse after she attacked him, and he has pictures of his injuries. Travis denies owing Megan for anything.
Start with you.
This is basically young love gone bad. We started dating when we were 19. Everything was going great. We would go for walks. We went for movies. We had a great time.
Oh, that's so sweet. Go ahead. You all used to hold hands and go to the movies.
All that fun stuff.
And then what happened?
And then in 2012, I had my daughter. At that point, I realized, we need to grow up. We have a daughter to raise. Our life was going to change. I feel like I grew up, but he did not. He would sit around drinking while he was supposed to be watching my daughter, playing video games all day. He was smoking pot in the basement, just things that should not be going on. And
sounds like Doyle. Doyle started off holding hands, walking through the park. His wife, when I met him, she said, he's such a great guy. He holds hands, we walk through the park.
Great listener, all that stuff.
Yeah, and then when she came back, she said, Judge, I need to talk to you. I can't get Doyle out of the basement. Does nothing but sit down there and play video games. He says those are cigarettes he's smoking, but I don't believe it. Go ahead, ma'am. So, did you all begin arguing about that?
Yeah, because he decided to be the stay-at-home dad, which he was not. I would be working all day long. I'd work 16-hour days. I had 3 jobs. I was going to school. Between me and his mom, we were paying the rent and everything because he decided to not have a job, and just nothing was getting done. So between all of that, we broke up.
Sir, let me hear from you.
Well, don't let her calm demeanor fool you. She's actually extremely violent, and she can explode at any minute. Her first reaction to any kind of altercation is actually punching and kicking like a little girl, and it's ridiculous.
That is not correct at all.
Ma'am, you get violent with him?
No, there was some instances that
Instances. Then that answer should have been yes.
So there was one time where I kicked in the door. I made a mess of the door, but I knew my daughter was inside. I didn't know if he was home. I didn't know if he was
Now, we're talking
drunk.
about assaulting him.
Mm-mm.
You've never assaulted him?
I've
I got
never
evidence.
assaulted him.
You said he has evidence.
Those are bruises put on my chest. March 2013. That very next day, she was actually arrested for domestic abuse.
Prior to that,
And also the knife that she's talking about, that she kicked in my door, I was at work. My daughter was not at the house. The house was empty.
No,
She carved in my solid wood front door with a screwdriver.
No, the night that I was trying to get in
got
there,
into
my daughter was in the
apartment,
house.
and she ended up just tossing beds, throwing clothes, breaking door frames, and put those bruises
No, the
on
night
my
the
chest.
night that I got back in, the only reason I would have done that was because my daughter was in there.
Ma'am,
was
you say you
in the
never
house.
assaulted him. I see all these bruises.
Prior to that, he had been holding me down and doing being aggressive with me as well, which I do not have evidence of. There wasn't any marks left, but he was being quite.
Explain what happened that time.
He was just holding me down, holding me back from things.
No, something happened to provoke that. Tell me how it began.
There had just been, that was a very crazy time. There had just been a lot going on.
No,
just of
that
any,
incident where he ended up holding you down.
There was just a lot going on that time, so I don't remember the exact moment, but there had just been a lot going on.
If a man throws you down on the floor and pins you down, you'll remember why he did it. Let's get to the car repairs and the bail bond, ma'am.
The bail bond, which was in March of 2013, he had been out with a friend that night. His friend had gotten pulled over because his friend had been drinking. Since Travis was also in the car, the cop took his license and ran his record. Travis had warrants out for his arrest. I don't remember exactly what they were. I know there were some traffic tickets. There might have been a domestic abuse on there. I'm not sure what they were, but I know he had a bunch of tickets out for his arrest.
You had a domestic abuse conviction?
No, Your Honor, I did not have a domestic abuse. I have no such thing on my record. I actually had, the reason why I went to jail was a $500 private property damage to her car.
Plaintiff Megan McVeigh is suing her ex-boyfriend, who claims Megan is so violent that she was arrested for attacking him. and he has pictures of his injuries.
Go ahead, ma'am. So what was the bail and what did you do?
The bail, I have the copy of
Let's
how,
see it,
how I
please.
paid
The bail
for it.
bond?
I paid it from my checking account.
Were you all living together or something?
At that time, yes.
All right.
With
What
my
about the
student
car
loans.
repairs?
My car repairs, in June of 2011, he was at a friend's house. He was drunk, his friend, and just getting very rowdy. His friends told me that he needed to go home. He somehow determined that it was my fault because he had to go home. He got very crazy and out of control. He started punching and kicking my car, which left amounts of damage. I have the estimates, and which the estimate was for $2,759.
Of punches and kicks.
Yeah. I have the evidence right here.
The pictures?
Yes, I do.
So you talking about she gets crazy? You sound like you get crazier.
The reason why I actually ended up having to leave that place, I was actually staying with my friends for a period of almost 2 months because she drove my roommates out of the apartment with her anger and just
It was not for
trash talking.
anger, it's because your friends
Quiet,
weren't paying
ma'am.
what they should be
Be
paying.
quiet, ma'am.
She was just going crazy, ended up driving both my roommates out of the apartment. I couldn't afford rent anymore, so I moved out to this friend's house. She ended up showing up, causing large amounts of drama to the point where police were probably gonna end up getting called by the neighbors. So my friend asked me to leave because he didn't want that at his house.
I was going for all that psycho stuff, sir, until I saw this.
Well,
You're jumping on and beating on cars.
she ended up.
Tell me about this bail bond.
Basically, those tickets, every single ticket that was basically a reason why I went to jail for were from her and her family. Like all the
No, a
disorderly
lot of-
conduct,
some-
Quiet,
all the
ma'am.
disorderly conduct tickets and stuff were because of her parents calling the cops on me for making noise or arguing verbally with Megan.
Okay. So you earned them. That's basically what you're saying. All
A
right.
lot of the tickets that were also in
And
there.
your car repair defense is what?
It's my car. I own that car. I have the title right here that states that it's mine and my mother's title. And also, I have a witness
Saying what?
report of my mom, the verbal agreement to the.
I have
Verbal agreement to what?
I have never seen.
Quiet, ma'am.
My mom agreed to. We basically put our credit on the line so she could get herself to work because her father kept taking away her car. So we put our credit on the line to get her this vehicle, and my mom basically verbally agreed
It was a
that
lease
it was
to own, as
yes,
it
exactly,
says.
as a lease
All
to
right.
own. All she had to do
And
was
had
make
you been
payments.
paying on it, ma'am?
Yeah, I've been paying every payment.
You still have it?
Yes, I do.
All right.
They never touch
it
it.
is
They
her
never
car,
do that.
sir. She has an agreement. So I'll grant you the car repairs and the bail bond, $3,975. I hope you all are done with each other, right? Because all this violence, somebody's about to be hurt. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff.
I hope that you can grow up because you have 2 kids to take care of, and that's a lot of responsibility. So I hope in the future you can kind of think about your kids first. And
I'd love to take on that responsibility, but I have to fight you to even get to my kids.
We spoke to defendant Travis Peters, who claims that he and plaintiff Megan McVeigh tried to rekindle their relationship after their court appearance, but it didn't work out. However, Travis said that he and Megan work hard to get along and co-parent the 2 children they share. Travis also says that he works 6 days a week to pay his child support, but because he works so much, it does not leave a lot of time to spend with his children, and he looks forward to seeing them on Saturdays.